Hello, my name is Verna Staten. This Pecha Kucha presentation will focus on early childhood education, specifically looking at multicultural education and different opportunities educators have to encompass the idea of diversity within their classroom using literature. James Banks became one of the first scholars, leading pioneers, and force behind the advancement and support of multicultural education within the United States. Within the work of James Banks entitled Multicultural Education, Historical Development, Dimensions, and Practice, Banks states one of the major goals of multicultural education is to reform schools so that students from diverse racial, ethnic, and social class experience educational equality. Educators are then tasked with how to make curricula inclusive of people's social class, gender identity, race, and disability. One approach would be exploring literature, images, and offering multiple opportunities to create positive, diverse images for students. By creating positive, diverse images for students, this is considered content integration, which refers to the extent in which teachers use content from a plethora of cultures and groups to illustrate issues, concepts, and experiences surrounding the subject area. This dimension would allow educators an opportunity to explore aspects of linguistic differences, cultural differences, as well as abilities to include possible outlooks on disabilities. As an early childhood educator, I always looked to promote different authors from other cultures, as well as found ways to celebrate my students and their families. One way in which I did this was to read children's books with characters that looked like my students and represented the different cultures in which they came from. We will explore a combination of fictional as well as non-fictional texts that are early childhood stories that parents and educators can reflect upon how to support the positive images of children and family to begin to have an inclusive conversation about multicultural education within their classrooms. Chocolate Me supports the overall concept of acceptance and appreciation for self by looking at a child that was teased for being different. Those differences being African American, such as hair, color, etc., but later found strength in what families say to celebrate these differences. Under My Hijab looks at the diverse nature in which a hijab is worn. The story is told from the perspective of a young girl that observes how, when, and where her family members wear their hijabs. This supports the idea of multiculturalism by exploring the diverse nature of how some may cover their heads and the vocabulary associated with head coverings. All the colors we are gives background information as to why our skin color is different. This is the science aspect of ancestral roots. Also introduces new vocabulary, and this book is bilingual. This demonstrates that people around the world may look similar, but they are culturally different. This book also promotes the use of multiple languages within the classroom. Henry's Freedom Box is based on the true story from the Underground Railroad. This is a historical book that celebrates the ingenuity of an African American child and how he made his way to freedom, also noting it has won several awards. Being With You This Way celebrates the unique feature of all children and people from darker skin to lighter skin and different noses. This connects to the theme of diversity and celebrating the uniqueness in all of us. This text also offers a bilingual perspective. Shades of Black connects and celebrates the many shades of African American people and celebrates how every shade is beautiful in itself, providing diverse images in comparison. This book also supports the development of comparison language and real images of items within the world around us. I Love My Hair is a book of empowerment, and it takes the reader through the journey of the unique ways in which African American girls can style their hair. It also explores how the little girl had to grow to love her hair by the end of the story. This supports the positive image and celebrates the unique things hair can do. Different But the Same explores how a child moves to a new town and discovers that although people come from different cultures and have different characteristics, you can still find similarities within all families. The young girl ultimately discovers that these differences do not set people aside from one another, but we can still interconnect and give each other equal chances. Dream Big Little One is a non-fictional text that presents African American women that have made a difference in history. This book explores the pivotal roles that African American women have made to achieve change. This book also offers an opportunity to look at the roles not commonly held by women. I Am Mixed explores how children that are biracial get characteristics from both their mother and father, making them unique, but also offering an opportunity for children to love the differences that make them who they are. This book also explores how cultures can come together to make something beautiful. Educators and people may question what are the strengths of using multicultural education. One strength would be providing an alternative perspective and view for students to examine and critically reflect upon within the curriculum. Multicultural education also invites educators to open a space where mutual education can take place. Multicultural education also builds the capacity for knowledge construction, which refers to when educators assist students with gaining a deeper understanding of the content. For example, in knowledge construction, educators encourage students to investigate, understand, and determine how their own biases influence their perspectives. Within this stage, educators could assist students with building upon their own knowledge and challenging assumptions. In concluding, multicultural education curriculum has the potential and ability to influence both educators and students to reflect upon how to create an educational system that is equitable and considers the perspective of all cultures, regardless of people's social class, gender, identity, race, and disability. Taking a look at literacy opportunities within the classroom may offer an opportunity for deep reflection for educators.